Good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us for the Palisades Fire Community Meeting for January 15, 2025. My name is Thomas Schutz, Public Information for the Palisades Fire. Some quick figures on this fire: 23,713 acres. This fire, as of this evening, is now 21% contained, and we still have over 5,000 firefighting personnel assigned to this incident. 5,032 personnel, to be exact. We appreciate you joining this meeting, and tomorrow we're going to have the virtual option as well, but we also have an in-person option. So we'll be giving that address later. We have it posted up on our website at fire.ca.gov. Go to the Palisades Fire Incident, and then we'll be reading it shortly. First off, we're going to kick off to our operations section with a fire operations briefing.
Good evening, Christian Litz, Operations Section Chief here on the Palisades Fire. We are still using aircraft in the air and using infrared technology to go ahead and look for isolated heat sources that we can pinpoint and put ground resources directly to those sources to use hand tools, get support from engines, and then also copter drops if needed to mitigate any of those sources. And we're pushing closer from the edge of the line and getting deeper and deeper. So across the north side of the fire, where we're looking at Montanito, coming across to Fernwood, the community of Fernwood, into Topanga Oaks, and to the right of Sylvia Parks, and up on Dirt Mulholland Road. We still have resources out there securing the edge of the fire, improving the line that they put. And again, looking for those isolated heat sources, make sure that we limit any kind of possibility of any kind of escape. Coming down in Mandeville Canyon around the Horn from West Ridge, Riviera, overall to Pacific Palisades, Temescal Canyon, coming down to Topanga, Las Flores, and the Malibu area over there. We have resources all along those resources, all along the fire's edge, again, securing it, improving that fire's edge, mopping up, which is the act of finding those heat sources and making sure they're out nice and cool, no threat to the line, and getting in those structures all along that area to make sure there's no effects to the fire or to the structures that are adverse and that we do not want. Along the Pacific Coast, we are doing infrastructure repair. They're getting in there. They're repairing the poles. Road department's getting in there, doing anything they have to do to try to make the area safe. We can't let anybody back into their homes until the area is safe, so we're doing that as soon as possible. That is a very high priority for the team. We also have USAR personnel in the area. They're doing their gridded search, just as making sure that seeing what they can do and what they can find in the area, utilizing all the resources that they have to make the search faster and faster as soon as we get that done. Again, looking to get people back in their homes and serve the public. And then around the left side of the map that you see over here, where right up there, Franklin, we still have it black, but we do have resources in the area and looking for anything that we might have to mitigate. All around the fire, we do have the contingency line, and what that is, when I say contingency, it's just an extra fuel break that we use dozers and hand crews to put around. So if this fire does happen to escape, which I think is a very, very low probability at this point, but we always plan to keep it small, like I say, prepare for anything different. But those lines will also help us control if there's a new start. So talking about new starts, we have 3 structure defense groups in the area. They're going all around the neighborhoods that I've mentioned. They're making sure that they have good defensible space and a good plan to use if we do have any kind of fire or new start. And then I'm going to jump the gun here and talk about Tarzana, Woodland Hills, Encino, Bel Air, the Brentwood area. We always get a lot of questions. Are we threatened, or is there any threat to our neighborhoods? Right now, like I said, there's a very low probability that there's going to be any kind of escape of this fire, but we still have some winds. And then tomorrow, with the wind changing direction, we're always going to make sure nothing happens. So very low threat, but we're always prepared and ready to react and do what we have to do to keep you safe. Thank you.
Next up, our incident meteorologist.
All right, good evening, everybody. Rich Thompson, incident meteorologist with the National Weather Service assigned to the Palisades incident. I do have some good news this evening. The red flag warning is officially done. No more red flag warning in effect for the fire areas. That's a good thing. So the next couple of days, basically tomorrow through the weekend, we're going to see kind of a return to more typical conditions this time of year for the Santa Monica and Malibu area. So we have that kind of onshore sea breeze, wind in the afternoon. Going to bring some cooler temperatures, definitely higher humidity, and so forth. So all very good things for the firefighting efforts out there. increasing moisture, cooler temperatures, and just more typical winds. So hopefully that'll be a nice benefit over the next couple of days. However, as much as I bring good news, I do bring bad news. Beginning Sunday night and continuing through most of next week, we're going to go back to another round of Santa Ana winds. Right now, our computer models are kind of still a bit all over the place in terms of the strength and timing and so forth, but there definitely is going to be an extended period of north to northeast winds across the fire area beginning Sunday night and continuing through about Wednesday or Thursday. Right now, I expect maybe the strongest winds might occur Monday night and Tuesday, with probably a moderate to maybe a potentially strong event across the area. But with those gusty Santa Ana winds, you're going to have also very low humidity. It's going to be actually much drier than it was this past event and so forth. It's going to be very dry out there, so it's definitely high likelihood of critical fire weather conditions developing sometime next week. But again, in the short term, no more red flag warning right now, and we have cooler temperatures and higher humidities for the weekend. So hopefully that'll help firefighters make some good headway.
A quick reminder on the format for this event. Feel free to ask questions in the chat. We're going to do our best to collect as many as possible, divvy them out to the appropriate answer, and we'll come up here and answer the questions. So if you have any questions along the way, just put them in the chat feed, and we'll do our best to answer them. Next up, Los Angeles County Fire Department.
Good evening, Brian Martin, one of the deputy incident commanders here for Los Angeles County Fire Department. Just wanted to give a quick update. 33% of the residences in the impacted area have been inspected. Impacted residents may visit recovery.lacounty.gov for updates on those maps that are updated daily. Also, as a reminder, in residents and wildfire-prone areas, the public safety power shutdowns, I know they're frustrating at times, but as you can see, as reported by our incident meteorologist, we have more wind coming, and those are vitally important for us to not cause any wildfires by down power lines. Also, as previously communicated by operations in their overview, repopulation will not occur until it's entirely safe in those areas. We are working 24 hours a day. I assure you, public utilities have a extraordinary amount of people out here, and it is our top priority right now. Resources for residents impacted by wildfires are available at lacounty.gov/emergency. And then also, again, as our meteorologists reported, we have more wind coming, so we encourage all residents in wildfire danger areas to develop your wildfire action plan for Ready, Set, Go. Thank you.
Next up, Los Angeles City Fire Department.
Good evening, Joe Everett, Incident Commander representing Los Angeles City Fire Department, part of the Unified Command here at the Palisades incident. And it was sure nice to hear some good news from our weather expert talking about being out of the red flags. That's some of the best news I've heard since I've been here. Secondly, some of the news that our operations chief talked about the good work that we've done and the low probability of any new starts. Again, some excellent news. Good to hear. That being said, I do want you, to echo my partners from the county, I do want you to be wary that we do have a little bit of wind coming, and we do have to prepare for the upcoming event, or rather upcoming dry weather later in the week. But as we speak, some of the work that we're going to be able to do as a result of the good weather that we're having, we'll be able to continue our efforts. I'm going to concentrate mostly on the most impacted area, which is Pacific Palisades. Right now, we have our damage inspection teams up there, seeing what's going on, looking, digging through hot spots and seeing what the extent of the damage is. And there is a lot of work to be done. We have down power lines, we have gas, utilities, and things of that. So ultimately, what we're trying to do is make it safe for you to get back in there. Again, like the county Fire Department, top priority is to get you back in. We're working extremely hard to do that. Just on a side note, some of the firefighters have been out on the line for 8 days. I've seen them coming in and out of base camp, and they are beaten up and they are bruised, but they are still well engaged within the mission, doing everything they can do to help you. And I want to echo my support and their support, or their appreciation for your support, rather. And please keep doing what you're doing, and we'll keep doing what I'm doing, and we'll get through this. And again, just one more time, we're working extremely hard. We understand your concern, and to get you back into your homes.
Next up, Los Angeles Police Department.
Good evening. I'm Captain Morgan, the Incident Commander with Los Angeles Police Department here in the Unified Command. I want to start by again thanking our partners in the Unified Command and all of our supporting agencies. Regarding our deployment, starting today, our nonprofit partners from Team Rubicon were deployed on 8 checkpoints throughout the affected area. They are going to be assisting us, as indicated in the messaging, and answering the questions that we're receiving from the public at those checkpoints. They are readily identifiable with apparel that identifies them as such, Team Rubicon. LAPD continues to maintain a consistent 24/7 deployment in the affected areas. We also are in partnership with Los Angeles Airport Police, Port Police, Department of Transportation, and the National Guard, who have 500 soldiers assigned to the Palisade incident at this time. On the topic of missing persons, as of 6 p.m. this evening, I can report that we have a total of 36 reported missing. Of that 36, 28 have now been found safe, which is up from 20 last night. I'm very pleased to report that number. We have 4 remain unaccounted for, down from 13, also pleased to report. I do regret to inform that we have 4 confirmed deceased at this time. On the topic of arrests, we remain at 14 arrests. This has been unchanged in the last 24 hours, which I believe is a testament to the deployment of our police officers to effectively deter any criminal activity or anyone trying to get into the affected area. The curfew remains in effect, and I also believe that this is a testament to the community's respect for that curfew, allowing us to focus on our efforts and responsibilities within this area. The FEMA Disaster Recovery Center is now fully operational, located at 10850 West Pico Boulevard in West Los Angeles at the intersection of Pico and Westwood. Those hours are 0700 to 2100 hours, or 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. On the topic of animal services, our partners with Animal Services today continued their effort to support residents who are or requesting that their pets be checked on in any of the affected area. Additional personnel continue to be deployed to support this service, and I do have an updated phone number to provide if there are additional requests. That number is 213-270-8155. Again, I want to remind everyone of the curfew that does remain in effect. 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. We will maintain a zero tolerance policy enforcing this. And in closing, just want to reiterate that our department remains committed to the recovery and support for the community. That's the end of the report for LAPD. Thank you.
Next up, Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department.
Good evening, Captain Andrew Cruz, Incident Commander for the Sheriff's Department's Incident Management Team. Just to go over some numbers, we continue to be supported by the National Guard and the CHP. The Sheriff's Department is deploying over 100 sworn personnel to the Palisades fire. And as Captain Morgan mentioned, that the curfew is still in place for the safety of the public. Last night, the Sheriff's Department, our proactive deputies, detained an individual, ultimately arrested an individual who was impersonating a firefighter. He had a full turnout and had all the gear. And he was confirmed that he was not a firefighter, and thus he was arrested for impersonating a firefighter. That brings our total to 8 arrests for the Palisades fire. Let's see here. We also have our search and rescue have continued their missions of grid searching properties, so that continues. I don't have the exact numbers of properties that they have searched. We understand that the residents are a little anxious to get back into their homes. However, the department continues our ongoing conversation with our unified partners with the eventual lifting of evacuation orders and the eventual repopulation of the area. Thank you.
Next up, Los Angeles County Emergency Operations Center.
Good evening, Katie Jang here on behalf of the Los Angeles County Emergency Operations Center and Coordinated Joint Information Center. As we continue on the road of recovery, we wanted to share some reminders that you may find useful during this recovery journey. Disaster recovery centers and local assistance centers are open from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. to assist residents. Centers are open 7 days a week for the foreseeable future. The West Side Center, located at the UCLA Research Park, and the East Side Center, located at Pasadena City College Community Education Center, are one-stop shop centers where residents can find help navigating the recovery process. These centers offer resources for financial assistance, housing, funds for repair, and more to help individuals, families, and businesses. Information to help you prepare for recovery is available from federal, state, local, and nonprofit agencies. Visit recovery.lacounty.gov for location information and hours of operation. The county's emergency operations centers continue to be activated in support of response and recovery efforts. For updated information, visit recovery.lacounty.gov. Thank you to all who have heard our call for financial donations to our trusted partners who are supporting the important work on the ground in our communities. Your generosity is making an impact. We continue to recommend that financial donations is the best method to help those in need. As you choose to donate to your organization or cause of your choice, ensure that it is a trusted, verified organization with a proven record of service and accountability, such as the ENLA, the Emergency Network Los Angeles, the American Red Cross, the Salvation Army, and the California Community Foundation. Lastly, on behalf of the American Red Cross, we share this message. If you've been impacted by wildfires in Southern California, the American Red Cross is here to help you recover. The Red Cross is currently reaching out to wildfire survivors to discuss their eligibility for financial assistance. If you received a message or call from a Red Cross representative, please follow the steps outlined in that message or visit redcross.org/get-help to learn more. Please be aware of scams or people posing as Red Cross representatives. You will receive an invitation via email and text based on the contact information the Red Cross has for you. If you're unsure whether the Red Cross has reached out, please call 1-800-RED-CROSS or 1-800-733-2767. Assistance from the American Red Cross is not considered a duplication of benefits for insurance or a government agency. The Red Cross is only part of the solution to recovery, and we encourage people who were affected by the recent wildfires to apply for federal disaster assistance at disasterassistance.gov or by calling 1-800-621-3362. FEMA approval is not required to be eligible for Red Cross financial assistance. Thank you.
Next up, City of Los Angeles Emergency Operations Center.
Good evening. I'm Brandon Silverman, a captain with the Los Angeles City Fire Department, and I'm here on behalf of our Emergency Operations Center in downtown Los Angeles, or EOC. We have officials from every city department as well as representatives from supporting agencies and organizations under the same roof to help facilitate everyone's goal of responding to this disaster and getting through the recovery process together. As you've heard from our incident commanders, firefighting efforts on the fires continue, but fortunately great progress has been made, allowing us to begin focusing on the long and challenging process of recovery. Just as all of our partner agencies have stated, the City of Los Angeles will always be here to support you every step of the way. Some initial steps that can be taken immediately include visiting lacity.gov and clicking on the LA Wildfire Recovery Resources 2025 tab at the top of the screen for information and resources. You'll find assistance for individual families, property owners, businesses, and housing services. You can even start a damage assessment claim at this website. Additional resources are regularly being added, including contact information for those in need of assistance locating a pet within the evacuation area. Also, the Disaster Recovery Center within the City of Los Angeles is located at 10850 Pico Boulevard in West Los Angeles 90064. This is a one-stop information and resource center designed to assist residents and business owners with issues such as replacing lost vital records, birth certificates, death certificates, driver's licenses, social security documentation, and other documents. It also can help those who have experienced loss or damage to their homes and businesses with such tasks as applying for disaster relief loans. At the center, you also can be provided with referrals for mental health counseling and other services if needed. As of this evening, since opening at 1 p.m. yesterday, over 300 households have visited this disaster recovery center in the west side of LA. They will remain open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. and remain open as long as possible as long as necessary, and we're talking weeks, not days, to provide services to all of those impacted by the Palisades wildfire. Again, more detailed information and links to all of these recovery services and resources and more, please visit lacity.gov. We realize that much of the information being provided by various county and city agencies and websites may be redundant, but that is by design. Our common goal is to ensure everyone who needs information or assistance can access it as easily as possible. Thank you.
Okay, that concludes our formal presentation part. Before we jump into the Q&A, I did want to read out the address for tomorrow's event. So again, tomorrow we will have a virtual option just like tonight. The community meeting will be at 6:30, but we also have an in-person meeting for people who would like to join in person. The location is the Sinai Temple. The address is 10400 Wilshire Boulevard in Los Angeles. And we'll put it in the chat as well. It's also available on our website for the Palisades Fire, fire.ca.gov. Again, the address is 10400 Wilshire Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, and that's going to be at 6:30. We'll kick it off to our operations section with some answers to your questions.
All right, good evening. My name is Landon Hack, Cal Fire Operations Section Chief for the Palisades. So I'm going to kind of blend some questions together here. A lot of questions about containment and time frames, okay? So we don't have specific time frames for specific areas of location. It just depends on the work that is done and what they're able to get done out there. Up over towards Montanito over here, that area there, lots of progress being done. We really hope that that's going to be sometime in the near future. Again, we don't have specific times for it. It just depends on what the crews are able to accomplish on a day-by-day basis. Same with over in the Mandeville Canyon area, down all that side. We work our containment from the outside perimeter of the fire, and we start working inward, eliminating the heat sources. Just because there's no active flame visible, that doesn't mean that there are not hot spots that are close to the edge of the fire within a few hundred feet. When we talk about fire weather, we talk about spotting potential and probability of ignition, right? And so when it's very dry out there, when it's windy, that distance increases. In some cases, in the last week, 2 weeks, and a little bit today, that potential can be anywhere from a quarter mile to a half a mile distance, right? So we're going very far into the black to make sure that there's no heat that's in there during this weather. They can get out across that line and reignite the vegetation in there. And once we're confident about that, that's when that containment, you see represented as black line on the map, starts to build around the map, and we call those areas contained. Good evening, and thank you.
Okay, that concludes our question and answer section. A reminder that we have what's called a link tree in our bio on YouTube. So what that means is we're able to put a bunch of links to some great resources, our great unified cooperators, Red Cross. We have information about water quality, air quality. So jump on there. If you click that, it's going to give you a ton of information, a one-stop shop to really get the information you're looking for. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We hope to see you again tomorrow at 6:30, either online again or in person at the Sinai Temple. Thank you.